Before getting too deep into this video, I have to admit it's only April 25th and there's still a long way to go in the 2024 season. But so far, it's looking like the San Francisco Giants might have made one of the dumbest trades in a long time. Before discussing the trade and the reason it's looking so terrible, we should do a quick recap on the player the Giants gave away, Joey Bart. In 2018, the Giants had an opportunity to pick second overall in the MiLB draft, their highest pick since 1985 when they took Will Clark, also second overall. They have never had a first overall pick. So with that second overall pick, they took a power-hitting catcher out of Georgia Tech named Joey Bart. The general manager at that time was named Bobby Evans, and that would be his final season. The following year, the Giants had a new president of baseball operations by the name of Farhan Zaidi. Bart produced at every level of the minors and also tore it up every year at spring training. But his introduction to the big leagues came suddenly in the weird COVID-shortened 2020 season after Buster Posey decided to opt out. So with no fans in the stands and a sudden unanticipated pressure to produce, Bart hit just .233 in 33 games without a home run. He spent most of 2021 in the minors, continuing to hit well there, and in 2022 got another extended opportunity, but struggled with a high strikeout rate and low batting average, causing him to get sent down. When he came back up though, Bart looked much better, reducing his strikeouts, although he still wasn't exactly tearing it up. He spent most of 2023 in AAA, and even there he hit just .248 with 6 homers, although he got hot towards the end of the year. By this point, even I was ready to admit that Bart was looking like a bust. However, since he was the second overall pick, the Giants obviously were not just going to get rid of him for nothing, or so I thought. So Bart was invited to 2024 spring training and absolutely raked, hitting .414 with a .975 OPS, one of his best spring training performances ever. But the Giants, still with Farhan Zaidi and now Pete Patilla as the GM, decided to go out and sign Tom Murphy to a 2-year contract to be the backup catcher. Murphy was actually with the Giants during 2019 spring training, but they decided to cut him. He went to Seattle and hit .273 with 18 home runs that year. That was when the Giants could have used him. Murphy stayed with the Mariners, and despite some injury issues that kept him off the field, he hit well, but he played in just 14 games in 2022 and then 47 last year. But the Giants decided to sign him anyway, effectively admitting that they were giving up on Joey Bart since Bart was out of minor league options and Patrick Bailey was already in line to be the starting catcher. Furthermore, the Giants also had Blake Sabol now in the system since he had stayed with the team during the entirety of the 2023 season as a Rule 5 pick. But after Joey Bart's impressive spring training, the Giants had no choice but to put him on the roster since they were apparently unable to find an acceptable trade. At this point in time, it looked like he would get one last chance to show what he can do, to show if he was capable at the big league level, which, if nothing else, would improve his trade stock so the Giants could get something for him, or it might even convince them to hang on to him after all. And if he hit poorly, well, the Giants could say they gave him every opportunity. Instead, the Giants gave Bart precisely 0 at-bats before trading him to the Pittsburgh Pirates for a reliever named Austin Strickland, an 8th-round pick who had yet to appear in a minor league game. Strickland had a 5.28 ERA in 3 seasons at Kentucky. So in the end, the Giants basically traded Joey Bart for nothing because, with all due respect to Strickland, the odds of an 8th-round pick even making it to the big leagues are very slim, and in this case, he hasn't even pitched in the professional ranks, so there's no evidence to suggest he's a realistic prospect at this time, although I hope the best for him. Meanwhile, the backup catcher the Giants signed, Tom Murphy, is 1 for 18 with 9 strikeouts, 0 home runs, and a single RBI. The season is still young, and he should absolutely improve those numbers, but Joey Bart, who tore it up in spring training, went to Pittsburgh and gave them an instant jolt with a home run in his first at-bat. He followed it up with more big hits, and at this point in time is hitting .350 with 3 bombs, 8 RBIs, and an OPS of 1,308. And he's also walked 4 times compared to 2 for Murphy. Now, I expect Bart's numbers to slow down and Murphy's to improve, but so far, this is looking like an absolute nightmare of a signing and an even worse trade. I wonder if Farhan Zaidi was in the front office in 2018 and was part of the Bart draft. Would he have traded him for a pitcher who has yet to make his minor league debut? Would he have signed Tom Murphy or given Bart one more chance to prove himself? And even if you were ready to give up on Bart, wouldn't you give him a shot to at least improve his trade value if you're going to trade him for next to nothing anyway? Imagine what the Giants could have gotten for Bart if he had hit 3 home runs and 20 at-bats with a .350 average in San Francisco. And at that point, they would have had the option to hang on to him and use a killer duo behind the dish of Patrick Bailey and Joey Bart, 2 first-round picks that could have created a major threat every day in the lineup at the catching position. And with the DH now, they could have both played on some days. But maybe I'm dreaming, and maybe Bart will go into a huge slump and end up being a complete bust after all. But even if so, the Giants really messed up, in my opinion, by letting him go for almost nothing and going all in on an older, often injured backup catcher instead in Tom Murphy, although I'm rooting for him hard to get better and start producing. And I hope in a few months I completely regret this video and that Tom Murphy is starting to produce and maybe Austin Strickland ends up being a nice prospect. But at this point in time, there's no doubt that the way the Bart situation was handled was absolutely terrible. But let me know your thoughts in that comment section down below. What do you think about trading Joey Bart for a pitcher who has never pitched in the minor leagues and wasn't even that great in college? What do you think about giving up on the 2nd overall pick, even though, yes, he had his chances, in order to sign Tom Murphy, who the Giants had in 2019 but let go back when he actually was pretty damn good and stayed relatively healthy? Let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear it. Like I said, I hope I'm completely wrong on all of these evaluations, but at this moment, this looks like a really terrible move, but it's too late to do anything about it now but complain. Have a great day, hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.